There I am. Hey, welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for joining me tonight. So we're doing part 2 in our detoxification, which is the call of 2025, to let go of those things that aren't working for us anymore, so we have room to bring in things that are bigger and better and more in line with who we are and what we want. And so tonight we are going to be talking about detoxing the mind and emotions, thoughts and emotions. Because last week we talked about detoxing the physical body. All right, hang on a second. I have to have the right notes here. There we go. And today we're going to talk about our minds and emotions. But before I talk about what we can do, let me first talk about the mechanism. So there are 3 things that happen with us. There are our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. Now we're going to talk about our actions next week, but today we're going to be talking about our thoughts and emotions. And so many of us are aware and familiar of our emotions when we have some kind of an emotional response. And often we don't think about what we're thinking about when we're having that emotion. But the two are intricately connected together. We cannot have an emotion unless it is activated by a thought that we have. Now, we've all have had situations where we've had a thought, but we don't necessarily have an emotional response. And my example, my kind of old example, is you're driving down the road and some idiot cuts you off, and there are those times where you just kind of wave them on, and you might think, oh, what an idiot in your head, but it's a nothing burger. They go, you go, you're not upset, you go on your way. And then there are other times where the person could do the exact same thing, and that, oh, they're an idiot, turns into you banging on the steering wheel, you screaming at them, you flipping them the bird, you having some kind of an emotional reaction to the situation. But it's not that the emotion just magically appeared. It's because that there was some thought that was sitting underneath it that activated the emotion. So thoughts are, I'm going to say, neutral. They can be good or bad, but in general, they're kind of neutral. There's no active mechanism to them. Our emotions, on the other hand, are very different. Years ago, I heard someone say that emotions are energy in motion, emotion. And so when we have an emotional response to something, it actually activates things in our physical body and causes the release of hormones that impact how our body functions. So we could have something bad happen, or the guy cuts us off, and our body releases cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and we get uptight, and our breathing slows down, and our heart rate speeds up, all based on that emotional response. It creates physiological responses inside of our body. But some of our emotions make us feel good, and some of them make us feel bad. But many times we don't really pay attention to the emotions that make us feel good. And we just kind of live on a certain amount of autopilot. And so where I'm going with this is the detoxing process. And we have talked about this on a lot of different episodes when we talk about mindfulness and our thoughts and emotions, but the part of the detoxing process is again to start paying attention to our thoughts, if that's an easier pathway, or paying attention to our emotions, because our emotions tend to be more upfront. We are definitely impacted by our emotions. And so if something happens and we have a bad emotional response to it, one of the things that we need to know is that it's always a reflection of what our thoughts are. And so when we start paying attention to our thoughts, we can start doing things where we can change what the thought is, and that's by becoming mindfully aware. It's like, oh, I'm having an emotional response. Well, what thought triggered that off? Or I'm having this bad brain, what triggered that off inside of me? Because if you're having bad brain, your body is also going to be reflecting that, where you're feeling kind of moody, you're a little more on edge, you're more easily excited, or you feel stressful, or you have anxiety, or you have worry. Anxiety and worry or rumination are all signs that your brain is not in a good place. And with that, your body is reacting in kind. But the other piece to it is being curious about what's going on. Okay, so I'm feeling this way. What caused that? Okay, so I'm having these kinds of thoughts. What caused that? And be curious about those things, because it doesn't take that long if you start paying attention that you start to notice a pattern. If I'm interacting with this person, it always sets me off. Or I'm in a relationship with someone and we get along great, except for the times when they come home drunk, and then everything is different. And there's the fact that they're drunk, but we're responding in a different way to them and their energy. But we might not even be aware that there's a difference in what's going on. And so curiosity is the key, because after a while and you start seeing these patterns, it becomes more obvious of what you need to do to change the pattern, because a pattern is a pattern. We are, many times we're not aware of our thoughts, and we find ourselves having these sudden emotional responses to something. But it's because there is some old programming, some old piece of information that's sitting in our subconscious mind, in the back of our brain, in our ego, that is being activated. And a lot of the times we don't recognize it because it's just hidden back there. And that curiosity will give us the opportunity to allow that bit of information to come to the forefront and come to the surface and allow us to make a different choice. But we've talked about what to do when, we're having bad brain or we're sitting in uncomfortable emotions. Breathe, tap, meditate, go to the gym, any of the tools that we have talked about on this show. If you're having a bad thought, think of 3 good thoughts, or bring in an attitude of gratitude. This happened the other day, and I found it really interesting, the change in myself as I started to really apply a number of the different strategies that I talk about in the Dang It Was Me All Along book. And I went to the gym, and then I stopped at the supermarket on my way home. And as I left the supermarket, my car started acting really wiggy. And it was acting in the same way that it had a few weeks ago, where I had to go and buy a new coil for my engine, because apparently there's your spark plug and then there's a coil that sits on it, and one of them went out. So I bought one coil. Little did I know that they recommend that you buy all new coils. I didn't know. I just bought one. but it was acting the same way. And I'm like, oh my God, and my brain started, it wanted to kick in with a bunch of negative thinking. Oh, my car's really broken. How much is this going to cost? Blah, 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 blah. And I looked, and where it was acting jinky, I literally just passed an AutoZone, which is where I bought the last coil. And I went, and like 2 doors down, I pulled into their parking lot, turned around, drove into AutoZone, had them check it, got the parts. And I had so much gratitude that my car decided to break right at AutoZone versus somewhere else that there was no emotion. It was just, okay, it needs to get taken care of, and I'm just going to take care of it. It became a nothing burger. But I also want to throw in is that, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Yvonne, but maybe not. But sometimes there's something going on and we're thinking about it, we're worrying about it, we're trying to use our tools, we're tapping and breathing and going for walks and doing all of these things to change how we feel inside or to change our thinking. And sometimes that just doesn't work. We get to a place where we're in a cycle of worry and we're doing these things and it's just not shifting anything. And sometimes when we put in so much effort and so much expectation that the things we're doing are going to work and then they don't, it just makes the matter be worse. So in times like that, sometimes we just have to take a step back and breathe and go, you know what? This is okay, because our thoughts and our emotions are like the weather and it is always going to change. And sometimes we just have to ride it out and have it be okay to be in that emotional place at that point in time. So the point of this whole thing is when we change our thoughts, it changes our emotions. And when we change our thoughts and our emotions, we can change our lives. And that's this week's Soul Healer Moment. And I'm going to start using that term. So years ago, I appeared on a series or a podcast, Feet to the Fire with James Arthur Yanchik, the Black Knight of Talk Radio. And once a month, I would do a Soul Healer Moment. And these are kind of like them because I had a 15-minute slot. So these are going to be called Soul Healer Moments. Yeah. Anyway, so as always, this show is brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to become a medical intuitive counselor, or energy medicine practitioner from the comfort of your own home. So if you go to appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, you can download my free 50-page Jumpstart Your Intuition Guide to help you open the door to your own intuition. That's at appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And if there's stuff going on in your life and you need some help, you need some guidance, you need some insights, you need to talk about somebody and find out what's really going on, reach out to me. Go to soulhealer.com and schedule a private consultation. There's tons of articles. You can get my books, videos. There's a lot of material on there. And most importantly, there's the contact form that you can use to reach out to me to set up a time. If you are listening to this show in a pre-recorded format and would like to participate in the dialogue and get a free on-air psychic reading, please go to my YouTube channel. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's 3 words, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. And that will allow you to join the chat and you can hang out with us and this great group of people that I have that come here every week and join the fun and get a free on-air psychic reading. All righty. So there's already a ton of comments and I'm just going to say hi. And as always, if you want to communicate with me and you want me to respond, please do so in all capital letters. If you're new here and you want to get a reading, all you need to do is Say, hey, Dr. Rita Louise, you have great hair and I would like a reading, and then give me a number from 1 to 3, because that's how many times I'll shuffle the cards before I pull a card for you. Again, all capital letters. All right. Okay, let's get started. Hi, Amy. Hi, Yvonne. See, Amy, Yvonne beat you. Hey, Yvonne would like a reading number 1. Okay. And actually, I'm going to clear these first, Yvonne, because I have not pre-shuffled these. Okay, now I'm shuffling for you. Okay. All right, Yvonne, let's see what they have to say. Ooh, Yvonne. Okay, so for people that are new, these cards are called mask cards. They look similar. And usually when they come up, what I see them as, there's a blockage in your energy. There's something that you're in denial about. There's something you don't want to address, you know, but it's not a negative energy, but it's just like stagnant kind of energy. And I'll pull cards until I feel like the energy is cleared. So not a good one. Okay. Okay, I like this one here. So only 3 cards. This one was interesting. And I feel like it's reflecting your ego. And so there's this card here, and this is the one I'm going to read for you, Yvonne. So I'm just sensing some, I'm going to say, frustration in your space. I feel like you've been working on some stuff, and I'm going to say that there's been some resistance and you're trying to push through it. And my feeling is that you need to just take a step back and refocus and ask Spirit, because remember, this year is really about being open to the flow of the energy, and ask Spirit what your next step is. I mean, I feel like you're going in the right direction and you're heading forward, but they're wanting you to pull your energy back. Excuse me. And get some, I'm going to say, deeper clarification. I mean, most importantly, what I'm seeing is that you're not really in your body, because you're all forward and trying to get things done. And you need to just relax. You need to take a chill pill and pull it back and have it be okay where you are. And from that place of being okay, then move forward again. And as always, if I do a reading for you here on air, I would love to get some feedback. So if you could put comments below, I would really appreciate that. All right. So there goes Amy. Amy would like a reading number 2, please. Yes, you can, Miss Amy. Dang, Amy, another mask card. Okay, I hope this is not going to be a mask card kind of day. Okay, so this is the card I'm going to read. I feel like the energy shifts here. And when I pulled it up, what came to my head was, the truth shall set you free. And I'm wondering if there's something going on around you where you're not feeling congruent with the information you're getting, or you're kind of feeling like you're being lied to, you're being misled. I don't know. I feel like there is some deception. I feel like you're trying to, what's the word? I have had like super bad brain today. Not like bad brain as in bad, like bad brain, but just like no brain cells kind of day. I feel like you're trying to figure out what the answer is, and you're trying to justify the situation I'm not sure if that's the right way of saying that, but I feel like all this activity is happening on your end, but I'm feeling like it's not yours, and you need to just own the fact that you can't listen to what they're saying. You need to go by your own judgment, because your truth will set you free. Interesting. Now I'm really curious what's going on. So post that below, please. Hey, Christine. Nice to see you. And she would like a reading number 2. All right. And Christine, that's your card for today. So, Christine, I'm kind of feeling like you're in a bit of a chill place today, which is really great. And I think how I want to phrase this is I feel like you've completed a project, or you can see no, more like you've completed something, or you're very close to completing something. And I'm feeling like you are admiring the fruits of your labor. And I just feel like all the energy that was sitting behind it, kind of pushing you forward, is finally getting a chance to be released. Now, I'm also feeling like this might bring in a little bit of, and I'm going to say confusion, of, okay, I've just used all of this energy to make this thing happen, and now what? And so I feel like there's a little bit of a void sitting there. Don't worry, that will fill in, and you will get the next step. You know, what they're wanting you to do now is to just appreciate and own all of the hard work you've done to get to where you are today with whatever this project is that you're finishing, because you did a great job. All right? All righty. ERRT Radio, you guys are late. Amy was here first. Anyway, hey, and he would like a reading number 3, please. Thank you. You're so welcome. Number 3. Ooh, nice card. All right, there's your card for today. Okay, so I'm just going to use me as an example, because I just am. You know, so many times when spirit suggests to me, well, you know, you should do this, and then there's this part of me that it's like, well, I don't really want to do that, and and I fight it, you know, and I argue with it, and I bitch and moan about it, and then I just sit there and go, okay, and then do it anyway. And I feel like there's something that you either are doing, need to do, whatever, but I feel like there's been a resolution inside of you where you are just surrendering to that energy. Good job. You know, because sometimes moving our ego out of the way and just surrendering to whatever it is, even if it's something that we don't really want to do, again, it sets us free, and it allows that thing to be done and accomplished. And there's always a sense of satisfaction that happens when we surrender to something. So good job. Let me know what it is. Interesting readings so far tonight, you guys. I'm really curious to hear the backstory on them. Okay. Let me just do a little clearing here. Okay. Master player. I got two of them. Evening, a number one, please. A number one you sure can have. Oh, I see. Thank you for the capital letters. Okay. And Master Player, that's your card for today. Okay, so I get the impression that there's something, and I'm air quoting this, that you need to make a decision about, that there is the prescribed path in which you're supposed to be moving. There is the direction that other people think you should be going. I don't know, but it's about this forward motion activity. And I feel like in your heart, it's like you just want to go do your own thing, and you want to just follow your passion. I feel like when you look at the choices that were laid out in front of you, none of them really feel really good. But then there's this other idea that you're having that's kind of sitting over here, that is kind of sitting over here and is not part of your normal processing. And they're saying do that other thing that is like, I guess my way of saying it is of you stepping outside of the box, stepping out of your regular box, stepping out of what other people want you to do, because that's the one that seems congruent, but it's also not the one that's laid out on the table, which I think is really interesting. So cool. Do it. Do it. Do it. All right. Gary's here. Hey, Gary. So Gary says, what's up? I would like a number 3 card reading. You can have one, Gary, number 3. Okay, Gary. All right. And that's your card for today. So Gary, I'm just kind of feeling like you are being kind of resistant, kind of like what I was just saying to ERRT radio. It's like I feel like the universe wants you to surrender, but you're not wanting to, and I feel like it's making the process be more challenging than it needs to be. And I feel like it just keeps coming back around and just taking a little bit, not hitting you on the head until you finally break down and just surrender. So I'm just going to say, just surrender and move through it. There is a much brighter future for you on the other side. The biggest thing is to get through the today so you can get to the other side. Okay? All right. And Debbie, who wrote in not all capitals, but it's Debbie, so I'm going to read it out loud. We need to teach this to little children so they can learn to regulate their emotions early on. I never learned this till I was grown. Amen to that, sister. Okay, Mr. B and friends. Hey, everybody. Hi, Dr. Rita. Don. Hey, Don. How are you? And he would like a reading number 1. All right. Ooh, not a mask card, Don. Woohoo. Okay. I'm kind of feeling like a theme here about surrendering, which is interesting. So, Don, I just feel like you have gotten to the place where you are more likely, more apt to surrender, where in the past you would fight because it seemed like the appropriate thing to do. And I feel like you're finally learning that it's better, it's easier, it makes it so that you can be happier and keeps you in a better place when you do surrender. Now, I'm not saying when you do surrender to what somebody else wants you to do that's not in congruence with what you want or what's for your highest good. I'm saying when you surrender to the guidance that you're being given and you move forward with that. Yeah, that's really great. You know, and part of that that's tied to that is the ability to love yourself, you know, and experience self-love that, you know, you can do this in confidence. I mean, there's just a lot of really positive energy tied to that, Dawn. So good job. Hey, everybody. It's Sin. Hey, Sin, how are you doing? Okay. So, Sin, I'm not answering specific questions here anymore. If you would like to get a card reading, okay, so the next one you put general message. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for you. Number 3, not 33, but I'll do 3. Okay. All right, so Sin, that's your card for today. Interesting. Okay, so I don't know if it has to do with Jacob. I don't know who Jacob is or whatever. But what's coming up for me, Sin, is kind of a really deep message for you. So I'm getting the impression that someone close to you, a parent, a grandparent, passed away. And I'm not talking about like recently. It could have been at any point in time in your life. But I feel like that loss really created an impact in you, and created some abandonment issues with you. And because of that, those abandonment feelings, that you have this need to have that void filled, and you're constantly looking for guys to fill that void. And so if you want to break out of this cycle and create a healthy relationship, you know, as I talked about at the beginning of the show, you know, paying attention to our thoughts, paying attention to our emotions, you know, is to go in and think about this relative, this significant, older person in your life, and see how that affected you. You know, maybe do some journaling around that, because I feel like that is really impacting you. And I feel like you were fairly small, but again, this person had a significant role in your life and you never fully processed the loss. Okay. Not what I was expecting, but okay. Antone, hey dude, how are you? All right, so Dawn put this in all caps. Dr. Rita, you should be using either AMS oil or Mobile One synthetic oil. These 2 oils are best for any car. Okay, Dawn. So Dawn, I have to tell you, my car it's old. It's definitely an older car, but it doesn't have a lot of mileage on it because I don't go anywhere. You know, so it was time. I tuned the car up over the summer, and I didn't know that with a Nissan that they recommend that when you change the spark plugs, you change the coils at the same time. Didn't know that. So it's all good. It's all good because I was right there at AutoZone. And it was super easy to fix. You know, I didn't have to go to a mechanic, because it was take off these 3 nuts and then take the screw out of the coil, pull that out, release, take the connector off, pop the new one in, bam, 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 bam. Did it in about 15 minutes. Super easy. Hey, Veronica. And she would like a reading number 3, please. Veronica, I don't think Marco's here. So, and again, you know, if these readings are resonating with you, I would love to hear back from you. Or If you want, you can leave a little something in the tip jar at soulhealer.com live. That's soulhealer.com live. You can send me a little casharoo either using PayPal, where there's a link for it, or by using the shopping carts that are set up on the page, which I would really appreciate that a lot. So anyway, there's that. Okay, and Veronica, I just kept mixing, but I'm going to cut for you right now. All right, so there's your card for today. So Veronica, and I'm not even like looking at I mean, maybe it's something in there, I don't know. But Veronica, you have kind of an interesting energy right now. There's kind of this sense of sadness tied with a sense of relief mixed up together. But I feel like it's all okay and you're going to be okay. And, you know, whatever happened, and you're okay, even though there's a little bit of sadness kind of mixed in with it. But I feel like, you know, like in your heart, you know that where things are and where things have moved and where things are going are in the right direction. And I don't feel like you are having like second thoughts or misgivings about what's going on. So, man, you guys got like interesting stuff going on this week. I want to hear all the backstories, all of them. Okay. So Drusilla says, feeling really good today. 1, please. Okay, Drusilla, 1, please. Okay, and that's your card for today. So Drusilla, this is interesting. I feel like you're kind of in, I don't even want to say observation mode. You are kind of taking inventory. You know, how do I want to explain this? So sometimes something happens where in the past we would act or react in a certain way. And then a similar thing happens to us in the present, but we react in a very different way, which causes us to stop and take a look and go, hey, you know, if this was a year ago or if this was 5 years ago, you know, I wouldn't be in this good place. And I feel like you've had one of those moments recently, and you're kind of doing a little bit of an inventory of where you're at now and validating, that's a good word, validating the changes that you've made in yourself. And you should be congratulating yourself on all the forward movement you've made in your own personal evolution. I mean, I get the impression that, you know, your inner world used to be a lot crazier and a lot more negative, and I feel like things are way more zen. And, you know, so own that, acknowledge it, thank it, praise it, have gratitude about it, because you're the one that did it, and you're the one that needs to take credit and pat yourself on the back about it. It's a good job. Okay, let's see. Carla. Carla, are you a new person? Hey, Carla. Thanks for tuning into the show today. You must be a new person. Okay, so because you're new, Carla, I'm going to shuffle to 4, but normally it's a choice of 1 to 3. But since you're new, you get to have to 4. And you didn't say I had good hair. And it should be in all caps, but you're going to get a 4. No, just kidding. Okay. Carla. There's your card for today. So, Carla, I feel like your energy is just very focused right now. I feel like in the past there has been, and the word I'm going to use is like a lot of static in your space. I feel like other people try to control you, control your energy. You know, you allow them to control you and control your energy. And I feel like you're really not doing that anymore, or at least in this moment, I just feel like you're, laser focused on this is where I'm going and this is what I'm doing. And all of this activity can be going on around you, and it's really not going to take you off this path. So wherever you're heading, good job, and keep that going. I feel like it's just been very satisfying for you. So cool. And if that makes sense to you, please, let me know in the comments below. So Veronica says, Dr. Rita does have great hair and cool lipstick. And Veronica says, I'm going to move to YouTube. Yeah, I'm not banned on YouTube. And Marco's still not here. All right. And we have Red KOI, Red Koi 88. Hey, Red Koi 88 would like a reading. You're another new person, and you want a number 3, and you're going to get a number 3. And I see just below that, Vesta. Hey, Vesta. All right, Red Koi, number 88. And that's your card for today. So Red Koi, and I mean, this might sound kind of general, but I'm just sensing a lot of pain inside of you. And this might be in this moment new pain, but I feel like there is a history of your feelings being hurt, of you being taken advantage of. I mean, just like a whole bunch of crappy stuff, that you have chosen to put up with. And I don't mean to be so blunt about it, but I just want to raise your awareness to the fact that only you can change that dynamic, to move from being the victim of other people into being the person that's in control of your destiny. I get the impression that you don't like hiding, that you're just tired of it, but you really don't know how to change it, how to shift the dynamic, how to shift the energy, and I would love I just feel like there's a lot going on that's really outside the scope of this here, so if you wanted to, we're at Red Koi, you can go to my website, soulhealer.com. And you can reach out to me and set up a time for a private consultation. All right, let's see. Okay, and this is your card for today. Interesting. So Vesta, you're showing me a very interesting energy. I feel like there's a lot that shifted for you in your own self-confidence, in your feelings of self-worth, in what, in everything that you think about yourself. And I feel like you're looking for ways to increase, improve your life, um, based on this new energy dynamic, coming from a place, again, from more confidence, where before it's like, and I keep getting this more with like a job situation where you were just happy to get a job because it paid money, where now it's like you kind of pull that in and go, no, I have these skills and I know how to do this stuff. And so what can I do that's moving me up, versus being the like, oh, thank you for taking pity on me, to, hey, I have these skills and you should hire me because I rock. And I feel like that's kind of where your energy has just really been shifting. So yay. It's interesting. I've been doing this show for, well, over a year now. And people's energy, these last few months have just really moved and shifted. So Yvonne said, thanks, Rita. Yes, I am trying to push the river to no avail. So I'm working on sailing down it instead. Okay. So Yvonne, maybe like leave it alone for the weekend, take a little break from it, and just have it be okay where it's at without having judgment on it, because I feel like there's some judgment on what's going on, and it's the judgment that's keeping you locked in. Okay. Unar, hey, good, all right, good evening, Dr. Rita. May I have a reading number 1? You sure can. Okay, and this is your card for today. So Unar, I just feel like there are a lot of idiots around you right now that are affecting your energy. I feel like you're not liking it. You're not liking how you're feeling inside. I want you to know, in case you're not aware of this, that how you're feeling inside is in direct relationship to what is going on around you and some of the people around you that are bringing your energy down. And so don't beat yourself up for having bad brain or having bad energy, because I feel like your body is just being in resonance with them. So maybe take a little time and find a quiet place and pull your energy back into your body, and then own that. And then they can have their little negative space, but you don't have to match their energy. Okay? Okay. All right. And we have Anne. Hi, Dr. Louise. Hi, Heidi. You promised to me to help with my question. Do you see a future for me and my love interest man abroad, or will he choose a local woman? Please help me. I really like him. Okay, so I did not promise to answer that question. And so if that's a question you have, you really need to go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and schedule a private consultation. And I don't know who Heidi is. So I'm a little at a loss here. So anyway. Hey, Lady Spitfire, you made it. Oh, my God. And Mark Eddy. Hey, Mark Eddy. And it's okay if you're a little late. Okay, and I already answered that. Lady Spitfire says, born late, working on dying late as well. Christine said, thank you, reading did resonate. Yay. Okay, so Anna says, I met this person before. You need to schedule a private consultation. All right, Lady Spitfire says, if there's a time I'd like a card, you pick the number. Okay. I'm going to give you a 2, Lady Spitfire. All righty. And that's your card for today. Okay, so I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing based on your energy. You know, so when I look at it, it's like I feel like your energy is kind of up and over here, that it's not well seated inside your body, which means it's not really in present time. I feel like there's a certain level of dissociation happening. What's interesting is when you're up over here, kind of in this imaginary world, it feels good. You know, when you come into your physical body, I feel like you know, I don't know if you have physical pain. I see this a lot with people that have chronic pain, where they just really don't want to go into their body because it's uncomfortable. You know, but I'm just bringing this up because it's something that you really might want to address, because being up here might be all good and dandy, but we manifest through the body. And so we can have all of these great ideas, but they are challenged into coming into fruition and coming out onto the physical plane, because our alignment is just really off. So let me know if that makes sense to you, okay? You know, or if that's something that I can help you with, you know, in a private way. Okay. All right. So ERRT Radio says, wow, interesting. So elaborate, please. Master Player says, yes, ma'am. Okay. And he says, thank you. Amy says, not too sure what to think about the reading. We'll have to process a while. Okay, Amy. Gary says, thanks for sharing my reading. You are right, I guess, on with my reading. Okay, Gary, thanks. Kaysen, hope that makes sense to you. Don says, thank you. I'm trying to get back to that thought in my life. Thank you. You're so welcome, Don. Okay. Okay, so Sin's back to Jacob. You know, but Sin, I really do hope you take a look at some loss that was in your life when you were a kid, like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. And I'm just kind of throwing a time at that because I feel like it really affected you and is affecting your relationships now. So Anton says, could use a reading if time permits, and time does permit. Okay. And I'm just going to do a 1 for you, Anton. Man, tonight has been a mass card kind of night. All right. Okay. So, Anton, I feel like there is confusion going on in your life, or at least in your mind and psyche. I feel like things are just moving around too much. Like you're almost in a worry cycle, like you're trying to figure stuff out. But what's interesting is that they're telling me that you have the information, you have the answer. You just need to ask for it. you know, and you keep asking like on the physical plane for not even for it to be revealed to you, like that you find the information, but maybe you need to turn in and ask there and then follow that direction, because that will take you to that piece of information that you're looking for. You know, people often ask me when I write my books, like, where do I come up with stuff? And I just ask Spirit, well, you know, tell me what you want me to write about. And they'll give me a topic. And as I'm investigating or writing a topic, then they give me like 10 other topics. Oh, yeah, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? You know, and I just open the door to allowing that information to come in. Antone, allow the information to come in. Stop trying to get it. Allow it to come to you. Okay? Let me know if that makes sense, if there's time. Okay, Corey, and I think you're going to be my last reading. Number 3. Okay. Okay. Dang, today is a math card day. Okay, so Corey, let's see. I'm going to stop here. All right, so this is the card I'm going to read for you today. Not really understanding this, but okay. Okay, so Corey, I feel like there are things that you want to do, decisions that you need to make, something to that effect. And I feel like there's just this lack of certainty in your space that's keeping you from moving forward with anything. You know, and I feel like this isn't necessarily a new thing. I feel like sometimes you get really overwhelmed and just can't move forward. And my suggestion to you is just pick something and move forward with it. You know, even if it's just a little bit, because as we move, things flow. But if we're just paralyzed and not doing anything, then nothing's happening. And it's better to move forward and change your mind than to stand still and mark time for a really long time and not get anything done. Okay? But for you, it's really about the movement and really about the forward flow of the whole thing. Okay, so it's getting to be that time. I'm just going to look real quick. Carla says I have amazing hair. Ronick says it totally resonated tonight. Yay. Yeah, so Unar likes the signs behind me. The coffee one's her favorite. Yep. Vesta says, well, losing almost half the weight I was when we first met, my self-confidence has skyrocketed. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then Unar says, thank you. Yes, I've been avoiding people lately getting fed up. Starseed, hi, Starseed. I'm getting ready to sign off. So thanks for coming. Come earlier next week, 7 p.m. Central. And Lady says, yes, I'm all over the place a lot. And yeah, I could use the help. Resonated. Soulhealer.com. Lady Spitfire says, right on. Anton says, thank you. I understand that. Vesta says, you rock, Dr. Rita. It's like, thank you. All right. But again, if there's something going on with you, please do reach out to me and schedule a private consultation. You can do that by going to soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. And that's it for tonight. And so I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Until next week, Be blessed.